All right.
Let's go.
So everybody's good to go?
We are good.
Yes, sir.
All right. Do you want me to do the intro, or does anybody else want to?
Sure,
take it
go
away.
for it.
All right.
Bring us in.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to those that watched the first episode. To those who could possibly be seeing this as the first episode, welcome. And still, if that guy from the future, the historian, is listening to us, I hope you haven't ended it yet. No, seriously though, welcome to our episode 2 of our podcast, the Ramble on the Mountain video podcast. Today we have our same cast as we did in our first episode. We have myself, Ben, Casey, if you want to raise your hand. You don't really need to because your name's there. Garrett, and Minnick, or Ryan. That's on the screen. We got a whole lot of crap packed in for today. It's going to be a lot of fun. Obviously, it's going to be a little different than the first one. Not as much introduction. But let's hope for the best.
Absolutely.
All right. And just a really quick thing to everybody that shared and liked and watched and subscribed. We are very, very grateful, and we're going to say it probably 5 more times throughout the podcast, but I wanted to start with that and just say, we just thought this was going to be something fun. Like we said in the last one, we didn't expect it to really take off or anything, and not that it's gone crazy, but we've gotten so much more support than we were expecting to in the first place. So thank you very much.
It's a good week. Good week. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't know about you guys. I've been in a good place. So
I mean, the thing is obviously a lot of YouTube videos get 1 million views as soon as they come up, but to get 250 for something that we didn't expect to have any, that seems like a mountain.
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
Absolutely.
Anything is great.
That we're going to ramble on.
Yeah. All right, so first off, we're going to do a little bit of a catch-up, or we'll think of a name for it. We've written just like a general catch-up, but maybe we'll name it at some point.
How about Colonel Mustard?
What about Heinz?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Heinz, are we doing? Or no, that's stretching.
Oof.
Yeah, oof.
We'll
They
do
ask
that.
you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine.
That.
Save them all the pain.
Yeah. All right. Well, does anybody want to start? What all you've been up to? What's your week been like? Anything in particular happen? Any good stories?
No, I'm still technically on break from school. I'm taking an intercession class at Frostburg. It's called Outdoor Adventures, and I'm actually in the process of teaching inline skating to high schoolers.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's really fun.
Sounds like it.
I don't even know. We had to skateboard on Wednesday. I think you all probably saw that. I sent you some Snapchats of that.
I did.
That was not the greatest adventure of my life, but other than
Somehow
that,
I doubt it. I bet you were great.
Oh yeah, I'm so good on my feet, but no. Other than that, it's just kind of been normal business as usual. So not a whole lot for me.
Okay. How about you, Minnick? We'll go around the screen.
Nothing crazy. I'm back in class. I'm actually been in class for 2 weeks, so kind of just getting back in the groove. Hey, it's my last semester. That's really all I'm looking forward to that. So, my catch up though, I actually want to give our first shout out of the day to a couple bands that I've been listening to. Couple new songs and stuff that have came out. If you guys haven't, you guys need to check them out too. You guys know I'm a big fan of Wage War. Mm-hmm. So Wage War put out a new song. It's called Low.
I've been seeing your tweets.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Twitter feed's full of Ryan Minnick Ryan Minnick retweeted.
At RMM034, if you haven't got that yet.
Wage War's record label tweeted back at me on one of them, and I was like,
"That's cool."
Hey.
Yeah, that's cool.
But and then also bands that I haven't talked about that much. It's called Whitechapel. That's their name. Mm-hmm. They've been around for a while. You may have heard of them, but they just put out a new song. It's called Third Depth. It is awesome.
Really quick, I was gonna say I could maybe throw in a sample, but I just want to let everybody know our first video got a copyright claim. Thank you to Led Zeppelin. Thanks for not at least taking the video down.
That's all right.
Just a heads up.
All right.
We could
That's
just
all
throw in some other stuff at the end.
Yeah.
That's okay.
I'm not
We
taking
don't
it out
have
of the
to do
intro. I'm sorry. I don't care if we ever make a cent off these. It's just too good.
Yeah. And then one more band, an album, the Fever, just Fever 333 now.
Mm-hmm.
If you like Rage Against the Machine, check them out. Awesome first album. They just put it out. I guess by the time you guys hear this, it'll be last Friday, but awesome album. Go check it out. It's called Strength in Numbers. But kind of like Garrett, business as usual, just doing classes, working, and jamming a little bit of new music. Same old, same old.
Nothing to complain. All right, how about you, Dill?
It was a pretty boring week up until, I don't know if it was Thursday or Friday now. I guess it was Friday. Yeah, because everybody was there at work. We almost came to blows with a couple customers, and I'm not going to say where the place of business is, but things got heated pretty quick, and there was almost some fists flying, some fisticuffs.
Oh my!
Yikes!
It was hands down the most exciting day of work I've had since I've been there since August. We were all pretty jacked up.
Yeah.
But yeah.
What was
Other
the
than
cause?
that, they were just asses, man.
Mm.
Like they were ignorant from the get go, and
Ignorant.
like just ignorant sons.
Weren't you
But
ignorant?
but I don't know, like the flip. Yeah, the flip just kind of switched. The switch just kind of flipped, and yeah, it was a pretty eventful day. So yeah, other than that, just been
Cool.
shoveling some snow.
Sounds like
and
it.
Drinking whiskey.
Better than I had, so.
Yeah. Gotcha. All right. Well, I guess I'll close it up.
Bean.
Just during the week, work. It's just fun. Nothing particularly exciting happened there. Might have some news to share later on, but I'll keep you posted.
Okay.
The weekend, however, was a lot more fun. Obviously, I spent the first half editing the episode and trying to get it out for everybody. But the second half is my wife's birthday weekend celebration. So we
Happy
went and
belated.
Yes. She might
Shout
watch
out, Candace.
So we went and did a couple of things. A coworker of mine recommended this place called the Wayside Inn. It's a bed and breakfast in Ellicott City, Maryland. It's a really cool place, super old, and very big though. Very nice, very well kept. The owner was really cool. It actually did have breakfast, and he was a really good cook. Had chocolate-covered strawberries, all the good stuff. It was fun experience. But the most interesting part of that, the place we went to dinner, I discovered that I love Korean barbecue. For those of you that, if you've never been, you guys or the audience included, if you've ever had hibachi, it's a very similar thing where they cook the food in front of you, but it's a little different in the sense that the table that you're at itself is the grill. And in the middle, there's like a cast iron skillet that they come and throw the raw meat on and cook it there in front of you and whatnot. And you can just reach on and pick off pieces as you want to. And they have this dipping sauce. It's filled with garlic, but it's so good. Like, I'm still tasting garlic today, and this was 2 nights ago. But like, God, I can't rave about it enough. It was really good. And the whole experience was really cool. They have some crazy stuff. There's like large and small intestine, beef tongue, like all kinds of just weird stuff. We just got.
I've had tongue before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was mine. He knows he likes it.
Yeah.
Can't deny it.
We were boring. We had brisket and like a pork. It's called pork belly, but essentially just bacon, which was really funny. So like, it was a cool experience, but because neither of us had ever been, we walked in and just were like it's a lot. There's a lot going on. So we told the waitress, we were like, we've never done this before. So she brings out the first thing of meat and just plops it on and walks away.
This is our first time.
And it's cooking. So, like, it's cooking really fast. I'm like, someone needs to flip this because it's, like, getting burnt on the one side. So I just grabbed my chopsticks. I'm like, well, I guess I'm just supposed to flip it. And then started eating. And she comes out and just is like her face is shocked. I'm like, what? She, like, takes my chopsticks out of my hands and gives me a new pair. And I was confused. I was like, what did I do something wrong? And she brings out a pair of metal tongs to flip it. But then she did it. Well, later we were thinking about it. I touched raw meat with wooden chopsticks.
Yeah.
So, like, the stuff could soak into it. And so she was probably like, please don't die.
Yeah, you're about to eat with those, so I get it.
Yeah. So
good for that lady, looking out for you.
Yeah, and I actually did appreciate it. So, like, she was really, like, she explained it all to us and said, you might want to try these kind of meats first. But I would love to go back with somebody who's, like, done it a couple times, because, like, I'm sure there was still all kinds of stuff that we missed, but cool experience, and the food was really good. So highly recommend it if you get the chance. All right.
Sounds good.
All right. Well, I'm glad everybody had a, not necessarily a bad week or not even a good week, but just
mundane, to say the best.
Solid week.
Yeah, that's all you can ask for. Moving on, I forgot we needed to do an ad read after the introduction. So we have a new sponsor. I think if you would like to start out with that, Mr. Mick.
Sure. I would love to. So yes, as Ben mentioned, we have our first sponsor. I guess it's family owned, but it's not one of our hosts owned. So our new sponsor is New Skin Products and distributor Shelly Minnick, which is my mother. The signature product, the AP Whitening Toothpaste, is the best whitening toothpaste on the market. That's on the market, folks. That's everywhere. So you're going to have to check that out. It is. It's a very bold claim. But you know what? They can back it up. And that's what matters. Talk the talk, walk the walk. That's what AP Whitening Toothpaste does. And it's affordable at $20 a tube. So I use it. And let me tell you something. Have you guys ever been to a store and tried to look at the price of those whitening strips?
Yes.
Outrageous. It's crazy. $20 a tube. And this is almost a couple days results. So $20 a tube. A couple, about a week or so. Some people take a little bit longer. But it's safe for all ages, whitens, brightens surface stains, and helps out with sensitivity issues. And it's a must-have. So I'm rocking that AP Whitening Toothpaste smile. So
pearly whites.
Pearly whites. But also, guys, Valentine's Day is coming up, and I know that, a lot of people out there listening may have significant others, and you guys do as well. So there are other products as well, including the Mud Mask, the Lumi Spa Facial, and the Body Butter that girls might like to have too. Flowers, you just buy them and they die. Come on,
True.
You're going to have to find something else. This is something that everybody's going to love. But on top of all that, at the end of this, listen here, you're all going to love this. Any customers who purchase and mention our podcast, Ramble on the Mountain, so purchase from Shelly Minnick, you can contact her on Facebook. We'll put her name up there so you guys have it, so you can contact her. She's public, so you can find her on there. Purchase from her, mention our podcast, Ramble on the Mountain, and receive 15% off a one-time purchase between now and February 13th. Wow. So we're running this up until Valentine's Day. So get your orders in, whether that's my guys, order in for your girls, whether that's my girls, it doesn't matter. Go order it. It's so affordable. Go get it. But New Skin, distributor, Shelly Minnick. Let's get it.
Beautiful.
Nice.
Wonderful, wonderful.
I'm going to throw out a shout-out to Shelly Minnick for showing some initiative and giving us some support.
All kinds of support.
Yeah. Don't
Moms
know if anybody...
are the top tier for support, honestly.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
I don't know if you saw the last video. If you go to the comments, Kathy Shoemaker was all about that. So
yeah.
Shelly Minnick, all over that. So the moms, thank you very much.
Also, Psycho Mike 5150 is my dad, so...
I was wondering if that was...
I was hoping.
All right. Well, if anybody else, if you own a business, anybody listening, if you own a business or you know somebody who does and they would like to get their name out with us, have them contact us. We do have a business email, and I'll go ahead and put it up here. It's rambleonthemountain@gmail.com. We'd love to get in contact and get your name up there. All right, moving on. Next, we kind of had a general kind of in the news thing. So anything noteworthy that any of us have seen or done or seen on social media, anything you can think of, go ahead and start. All right, Minnick, go ahead.
I would like to start.
Really quick.
Go ahead.
Not to throw you off. We are going to do the shout out counter, does anybody want to go ahead and make me a free sound effect?
Bam! There you go. It's all you.
That'll do. All right,
that'll do, Pig. All right, so
beautiful.
I know in the news could mean a lot of different things, a lot of different categories, but I was texting Casey about this earlier, but the viral video of the dog farting and then the cat puking literally seconds after it is the best video on the internet maybe ever. So if you guys haven't seen it, just look up dog fart cat puke. You'll find it. So essentially, have you guys seen it? I know Casey's seen it.
Yeah, I've seen it.
I mean, it's just funny. The guy looking down, he's like, "Oh no!" He turns around and the cat just.
Well, because it's like
projectile vomiting too.
Because they're like, "Oh my god!"
So you need to look that up.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do that.
It is so funny.
The people in the video are like,
"It's not just like a typical dog fart. It's like a typical dad fart."
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and I think that's why it's funny, because it's just the culmination of everything. Like I told you, Casey, I think it's one of the best videos ever.
It's like a domino effect.
That's what the internet's made for right there, is dogs taking long farts to turn around and watch a cat puke. That's what the internet's for right there.
Oh, man.
I can tell you, and I don't know if it's an all-dog thing, but this little guy in his kennel behind me, he can reek. So, I mean, like, he's almost brought Candace and I to, we've retched. So, like, I sympathize with the cat, man.
So
That's how Chopper is.
Yeah.
What you need, Ben, is a cat for reference.
No cats.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go there. No, not a cat.
Unless it's a Mr. Cat.
But okay, yeah, Mr. Cat's a G.
Who had a solid win this past week.
Yeah.
He had 2 dubs in the same day. He was because we didn't have any more wet cat food, so he had to eat dry cat food. So he said, "Screw you guys, I'm going to go get my own wet food." And I don't know what morning it was, but I look outside. I was getting ready to start Kate's car to get it warmed up for her, and I look outside, and Mr. Cat's just on the porch with a halfway dead rabbit in his mouth. He was still alive. He likes to torture him for a while, show everybody, and then kill it. So, and then later in the day, Colleen said that he had a bird on the back porch as well. So
nice, good for
him.
He
had a good day.
He's not waiting for your wet cat food.
Poor buddy.
No.
If we're gonna talk in the news,
so cool, but
if everyone else, if you don't mind, one thing that I saw just in the past few days. So I know this is gonna be out later on this week. So I don't know how it's gonna turn out, but I did see where there are state senators in our state here, West Virginia, proposing a bill to give $10 million to fund the wall. And if anyone knows anything about West Virginia, obviously our infrastructure is not great. We struggle. Our roads, our highways are awful. Our education system is in the bottom 10. But we don't have, our teachers had to fight to get a 5% bump and increase pay just this past spring, which
decent benefits.
Right, exactly. And honestly, it's still not where it needs to be. All 4 of us are products of the West Virginia public school system, and we had some really excellent people that kind of, influenced our lives.
I think we are lucky.
Absolutely, we are very lucky. it's not like that everywhere in the state.
Yeah,
and
I can
get me
share
wrong,
some examples.
$10 million
sure.
spread across every teacher in the state doesn't equate to much, but the fact that we can scrape together $10 million for a wall, and I'm not trying to get political, I'm pretty apolitical. I don't care if you do support the wall or don't support the wall or support the president. When it comes down to it, our state has higher priorities as a state than a wall should have. Exactly. Thank you.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to upset anybody that is absolutely supportive of the wall. I'm just I want people to know that I think West Virginia has much better routes they could use $10 million for. Yeah, that might only fix a couple highways or fix a couple things within our educational infrastructure, but I don't think it's best suited for a wall. And if we had a surplus of money that could go out like that, by all means, fund whatever you want to fund. We have our problems in the state.
One caveat to it, and I don't know if this was their intention or not, but one thing I definitely do feel for are the millions of Americans across the country right now that work in government that are having to work without being paid for almost an entire month now. So if that was maybe a move, and I don't know, but that could have maybe been a move to be like, hey, here's our effort just to solve this problem. Let's help these other people that really need it right now. So, I mean, if that was their intention...
Just to get it out of the way. It makes more sense that way, but it definitely didn't come across that way.
Yeah, I still wouldn't necessarily be like, okay, that's a good idea, but, like, I could appreciate the intention if that were the case.
Yeah.
Sure.
Right, and I understand that, and, like, I mean, not me personally feeling the effects, but my sister's boyfriend actually works, I'm not going to say where, but he works for the federal government, and he's been working without pay, and he's been working overtime and extra shifts and this and that.
Right.
And I was asking him about it, and he said, that he is going to get paid back pay, but whenever he gets that lump sum, one, it's going to have overtime, two, it's a bigger sum. So, I mean, when it comes to taxes, he's going to get hammered. So, I can't say a percentage, but he's not going to be, paid for the work that he's actually putting in right now.
Either way, it's hurting.
When I know people get back paid, but the problem is, like, I've literally heard of people having to sell their personal belongings, having to pick up, like, little second side jobs, which isn't, that's not necessarily always a bad thing. But when it becomes, like, that is the only way for them to make a livelihood at the moment, like, that would be my only way to be understanding of trying to push things forward. But
right.
You're right. I don't want to get too...
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I don't think any of us are very political. So.
No, but I just wanted to make that point. Obviously, all four of us are from West Virginia, and I think most of our viewership,
what the show's about,
as of right now, is going to be coming out of West Virginia. And I don't think I can say that I know a West Virginian, even if they support the wall, that they would rather support a wall than our education or literally anything else in this state.
Right.
Yeah. No, I understand. I think that was a very good thing to bring up,
Boog, whenever you first brought it up, I smiled because I thought you were going to say about how the delegate in Mineral County, where we're all from, proposed the bill to fine people who drive slowly in the left lane. That's what I thought you were going to bring up.
That's what we need to spend that money on.
And I was like, finally, somebody gets it.
That's a real thing.
Yeah. A lot of states, not a lot, but a few states do that. It's called the slowpoke law.
Huh.
So
we need to institute it. Lord.
I appreciate it just for the name.
So the fact that it's coming...
the slowpoke law.
It's coming, potentially, if it passes through all that government stuff, if it passes through, it's coming out of Mineral County.
That's awesome.
Sweet. It's about time.
That's awesome. Okay.
Do you know if Maryland has this?
I think
absolutely
Ohio does.
not.
It's never been enforced.
Maryland doesn't even have turn signals, dude. So
can confirm.
I forgot Ben traded teams.
No, I didn't.
What's your driver license say?
Maryland, and it makes me sick.
makes me sick, Ben.
Well, I can't do anything about it, so.
I know. We still love and respect you.
I was going to say, why don't we start with the next ad read. Dill, I know you went first last time. You want me to
Yeah, go
go first
ahead.
this time? Okay.
Don't call him a goat head.
All right. So our other business that is sponsoring this glorious podcast, once again, we have Blue Design. Maybe I'll be a little better at the read this time. So, creativity and passion. Blue Design is a small startup built around those two ideas. Custom graphics and multimedia production and more are their specialty. If you have a need for a unique piece to better fit your brand, project, or even just a gift idea, Blue Design is ready to take your graphic need from concept to creation. The best part is that you don't have to pay anything. The creators at Blue Design, me, have a passion to see a finer world and are ready and willing to work one-on-one with you to ensure your needs are met and exceeded. What are you waiting for? Reach out to me at any of the following means: Facebook at facebook.com/bluedesigns, Instagram at bluedesign, or email bluedesign@hotmail.com. And don't forget the second B on all of those. Yes, I'm still French, Garrett. Blue Design. Experience creativity. There you have it.
Boy.
So Ben, one thing that I wanted to kind of mention going off of your business, I think there's going to be a lot of people that are like, oh, what would I ever need graphic design for? What would I ever need something for? But, I mean, if you have something even as simple as, like, a weekend softball team or a darts team or anything, this is your man. He's going to hook you up with a sweet design that you can use all season. Softball season starts here in, like, a month or two, probably 2 or so. So, I mean, reach out to him. If you're just going with the still boring, like, font just across the shirt, don't do that. Have something creative. Have something
Do yourself
unique.
a favor.
Yeah, honestly,
Experience creativity.
stand out. Because, I mean, if you're going to suck while you play, you might as well at least have a cool logo on your shirt, and Ben is absolutely the one that can do it for you, so.
Look good, feel good, play good.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I'll get into it. I don't want to self-promote or anything or take up time, but a few examples of some of the things that I've done that you might not think about that I should probably mention in here. The number one is Snapchat filters. If you have like a special event or like a birthday party,
wedding.
Like I did our wedding, yeah. I've done a couple for some of my other friends. They're pretty easy to make and easy for me to do, and I think they really add a nice touch, especially if you have a special event or something going on. It just adds a little bit of personal recognition and just something different.
Yeah.
It looks a little better.
Yeah,
and
if you're scrolling back through your camera roll and you're like, oh, when was this picture taken? You put a Blue Design Snapchat filter on it, it's like, bam, that's exactly when that was from. So,
yep.
Reach out.
Yeah. And yeah, logos primarily are what I specialize in. You can go to my Instagram and see I've been doing this 50-day logo challenge. It's been a lot of fun, just sparking off different ideas. But I do all kinds of stuff. I got a request from my sister today to do a physical like painting for in her house. I've done drawings, all kinds of stuff. So, and I love doing it. It's just fun.
Once the Bob Smiley ad read comes a little later, the logo pops up there. Blue Design did that too.
Thank you, Dill. Thanks for the plug. All right, moving on from that.
Wait, real quick. I have one I want to talk about in the news. I actually just saw it this morning, and me and Manic were also texting about it. I'm already going to take a stand on what side I am with this. The punk kids that were at I think it was like the Indigenous Walk.
Yeah.
Or the Indigenous Pride Walk or whatever it was.
He was a Vietnam vet, wasn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He was a veteran, yeah.
And, like, it was just completely disrespectful. Like, I'd like to punch that kid right in the head.
Not even a political thing.
Like, yeah. And then, like, those people weren't even actually
From
like
us.
taking a stand against anything.
Right.
They were just celebrating like what their people were all about.
Yeah.
So, They just had to be a bunch of.
The Native American population has been short-sticked through our entire history. So
since literally the beginning of this nation.
And Casey, kind of to touch on what you said, it wasn't a protest versus counter-protest.
Right.
It was just, a celebration of, his people's lives. So, he absolutely made his entire political party look bad because of what he was doing and who he was representing.
Yeah, especially just wearing the hat. Yeah.
Right, exactly. So
I've seen he's gotten some repercussion already.
Good, honestly. And I mean, and I saw a tweet that said that no one party owns hate, and it was the exact same scenario, just on its head, flipped over. So again, this isn't us coming from like a political stance. It's just don't be a crappy person. Like
it's just respect.
Let people celebrate, especially people that have been truly oppressed in this country before the existence of this country.
Since we got here,
let them celebrate. Let them celebrate themselves. Let anybody celebrate themselves for who they are.
Just be a decent person.
Yeah, exactly.
But I will say, and this isn't even about the issue, but people are always saying, like, you see all the comments that are, man, look at that. He has such a punchable face. I just love to punch him. And, I mean, each his own. I know people handle their differences in different ways. Yeah. But my stance is, once you throw a punch, you're no better than the person who did it in the first place.
Right.
So, I mean, it doesn't make what they did okay, but there's also a line there as far as taking things too far.
I mean, I'm not going to say
people sending death threats and
yeah, I'm not going to say I would punch the kid, but I would definitely not turn my head if somebody else wanted to.
Right.
And that's all. That's the last comment I have for that.
Yeah.
I hate politics.
Yeah, me too, but there's some very interesting points that come out of it.
Sure.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, even him just wearing that hat brings so much more politics into it.
Right.
If he would have had just a plain red ball cap on, it could have been completely different.
Still
but at the same time, he's still a crappy person for doing it.
Sorry, I don't think it gets the coverage that it did, though, if he's not wearing that hat.
Right.
Fair.
I would still be
seeing
it, but
oh yeah, no, it's disrespectful whether or not he's wearing any kind of.
The amount of disrespect's the same, but
right, exactly. But the fact that you can pin it on a particular political party, that's where it gets political.
Yeah. Man, we're all up in the politics this episode.
I know,
that's why though. We haven't.
It just kind of happened.
We haven't said anything too bad though.
I know.
Yeah.
You guys talk about politics. I'm talking about a cat puking after it smells a fart. So
I'd rather talk about cats puking. Honestly.
To each their own, right?
Yeah.
It made me think. We saw Aquaman. It was a couple weeks ago, but Jason Momoa. I know
he's a god among men.
Yeah. Talk about a man crush. But it was
such
a good
cool
movie.
Person.
Oh yeah.
Like inspiration for the dads out there. I don't know if you guys have ever really read much about him or seen much. I know there's like a really cool segment. I don't know who did it, where they were just sort of talking to him about who he is and where he comes from. It's worth watching, like because he talks about his values and everything, and sort of how he sees life, and he's just a really good person in general. So.
Yeah. Huge rock climbing enthusiast.
Yeah. Moving on. So we have gotten a lot of submissions from fans as far as questions or show ideas, all kinds of stuff, and we're going to showcase a few of them. The main thing we've been getting is questions, basically probably from doing like the AskReddit segment. People have given us a couple things to consider. So I sent you guys the two that I found the most interesting off the bat. If you want to go into those, we can do one or both. But the first one, the question is, you can live the rest of your life with one superpower, but you have to keep it a secret. Which one and why? Casey, you first.
Okay. The first thing that popped in my head was flight, but like the part of the question that kind of made me think in secret. So like, if I could fly, but nobody could see me fly, like yeah, it'd be cool. But
Right.
so I said telepathy because like I could read people's minds, and of course they wouldn't know. And also with telepathy, like you can make people think different thoughts. So like you could get so much benefit and knowledge just out of that, like, and nobody would know. So I thought that was
That's pretty solid.
hands
Yeah.
down the best.
Oh, yeah.
Because I mean, you could definitely keep that a secret. I
Because
think
like
if
flight and like super strength are like the two major
I think
ones. Like those
people-
are hard to keep.
Yeah.
I think people could catch
Sorry,
on to
there's a
that.
delay. Yeah.
I think they could if you had somebody that was like super observant, especially if you were doing it often. But I think that would be
Right.
one that, you, like you said, you could get a lot out of it, but also hide it fairly well.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Around the screen, Minnick.
Mine was, as soon as I heard the question, and I want to thank my dad, Mike Minnick, for that question that came directly from him.
Shout out, Mike Minnick.
Bam!
Is 100% like invisibility or like the power to walk through walls, something like that, because that's not something that you have to showcase all the time.
Right.
I would just more use that when I'm alone and I'm like, you know what I don't want to do today? I don't want to walk down the steps. It's a lot easier on my knees. It's a lot easier than opening doors and all that. You can just kind of go where you need to go. And then I wouldn't have to...
Yeah, but if you phase through the floor without walking down the steps and then have to land, I feel like that would hurt your knees even more.
I choose to believe the opposite. I choose to believe that it would
You
hurt
have a
my knees
superpower.
less.
You can, yeah.
Yeah.
But like that's not something that you like. I wouldn't be around you guys doing it. I can walk upstairs. I can do that.
Yeah.
If I was alone, that's when I would use it. That's when I feel
Right,
I would
that makes
utilize
sense,
it
yeah.
the most. So definitely invisibility for that. Casey, I like yours. My rebuttal against that would be is I don't want to know what other people think.
All the time.
Yeah, that makes
I
sense, too.
truly do not. I mean,
See, my biggest thing too is like not even like opinion based or anything like that. Like just to know, like, especially if somebody's lying. I think that would be huge.
Yeah, I get
like,
that.
Especially
Okay.
like becoming like a detective or something like that, and like just knowing.
that's
Even if it's
fair.
not directly
that'd be
involved,
useful.
like someone lying to you.
Right.
Like you could have
Yeah.
such a
Yeah.
like an upper hand in situations just by being like, that's not true.
You'd be a great lawyer.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Hell of a fact checker.
Make some bank. All right, Gert.
So I mean, kind of going. I kind of follow the same trend they did. I first thought of something like super strength or flying, but you're gonna be a spectacle. Like things like that really stand out to people.
It'd be hard to hide.
Yeah, exactly, because you're only going to need to use something like well, maybe not flying, but you're going to have to use something like super strength around other people. You're not going to use it for your own personal gain. You know, you could be skinny and have super strength, so you're not going to be showing off at the gym. So I went with teleportation. The reason being, and I thought, and I did think this, you know, from like a very selfish standpoint, travel is so expensive.
Oh my gosh.
So, you know, at the snap of a finger, you could be anywhere, literally anywhere. So, you know, and people
You can
pop
sleep in
up
that
all the
extra
time.
half an hour and then just snap your finger and go to work.
So, yeah, exactly. So it's a time saver, and it's also, you know, a personal. I don't know what you would call it, like a
benefit.
a what?
Personal benefit.
Yeah, personal benefits for sure. So, and also, so kind of mimic if you walk through a wall and somebody sees you walk through that wall, like you just show up into the room, people are like, oh, that was really weird. But if you teleport into another room, think about when you've been, I don't know, maybe at work, and next thing you know, somebody comes up right behind you. You didn't see them 2 seconds ago.
All the
So,
time.
Yeah, exactly. So if you teleport, it can be like, oh, where'd you come from? Oh, I've been here for 5 minutes. nobody's going to question you. But if someone sees you walk through a wall, they're like, oh, this guy has something. So
to be
Somebody
fair,
could see you just appear.
to be fair though, I live alone, so.
Okay, well, yeah, you did say you would use it in a very like private setting. So
That's true. The question doesn't say that you have to use it for other folks' good. Like,
right.
You just have to keep it secret.
Yes, mine is very selfish. I want to help as many people, but my superpower would be selfish.
I think
especially because it has to be a secret.
Yeah.
So far, it's pretty much personal gain. Type B.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have two. My personal favorite, and I have wanted this forever. I would love to have the power of telekinesis, aka the Force. Just the idea of being able to never move and accomplish whatever you want, because I think also with telekinesis, and I've always wanted to challenge this, couldn't you fly if you had telekinesis? Because you could just move yourself.
I'm pretty sure you can like at least levitate.
Yeah. So I'm thinking you could fly too.
I don't know necessarily like flight like just the superpower flight, but I guarantee you could like at least levitate.
Yeah.
So, kind of to go off of that, with telekinesis, do you have to have like, is there like a strength that comes with it? You can only like move something that weighs 5 pounds or 10 pounds.
That's a
because
good point.
if not, you can literally move the earth from underneath of you. So
That's true.
So you could technically fly.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That takes a lot of movement.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you could use it on your own body.
Plus, you send the Earth off its orbit, and then we crash into the sun.
Yeah, my selfish one is telekinesis for sure. Just because I feel like it'd be so much fun, not only to mess with people, but like just to help myself. But
especially if your living room and kitchen don't have a wall in between it, and you can just sit in your recliner. You can cook your food over here, get your beer over here. You don't have to move or anything.
Yeah, it's great. My one that I would keep a secret but also try to help others would be the power of like I don't know what's shape-shifting into animals.
Animorph.
Yeah, so that
the old TV show. Yeah.
Yeah. So so I could talk to people's pets because you always want to know what your animals are thinking. I would want to be able to talk to people's pets and tell them. Like I feel like he's saying this, you know.
Okay.
Or if someone, just to be an emotional support animal for somebody else, just to pop in and.
Or just to be able to actually tell your dog what you want.
Yeah, exactly. So those are my two.
Look, Poncho, we've been out here for a half an hour. Will you just go to the bathroom, for God's sakes?
Oh man, he was exhausted today. He got back because when we went to leave, he stayed with the boarding, and he was asleep in the car before we even pulled out of the parking spot. So he's just been zonked the whole time. He loves it so much. The lady at the daycare today showed us a video. I know, Minik, he's done this to you before. He has a thing for ears. So he was like up behind her with his paws on her shoulders, biting her ear. I was like, yeah, you got to watch for that. He has a thing for that. Yeah.
Yes.
He's a little weird.
Very. Loves my ears.
Okay. So our video recording is
Did his
at
dad teach him that?
48 minutes right now. And we still have 2 more segments. So I think we should stay to just one question for today, and then we can do the other one next time. Another quick feature of fan-submitted things. I don't know if we want to start this, but Casey's cousin submitted a logo/background kind of deal for the show that he sent to us, and I'll go ahead and pop that up right now. I really like it. I don't know if he's looking
Shout out Jeff Breeden.
Bam!
Okay, I was going to ask what his name was, so Jeff.
Dope.
If you're looking for any pointers as a fellow designer, I think it looks great, first of all. I wouldn't change anything. I appreciate it. But for the rest of you watching, I know a lot of popular internet personalities or shows usually do have some level of fan art that's submitted, and they'll share it in different ways. So if we have people that are inclined to do something like that, please send it to us on any of the social medias or at the email, and we will definitely, if we get a lot especially, we'll have them cycle at the end or introduce them like we're doing right now. So Jeff, thank you. We really appreciate it, and it looks really good.
Thanks, Cuzzy.
Looks great, man. It's dope.
Yeah, I wanted to say, we talk about kind of embodying like the West Virginia, like the idea of West Virginia, and I think that like from like an actual photograph standpoint really embodies, just getting together and sitting around a campfire and BS and kind of like what we're doing right now. So I think that was really an awesome implementation of the campfire. On. Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Good integration of the state outline is
so. Thank you.
Props. Okay, so our next piece. This is a newer idea that I found not too long ago, and the boys were excited to give it a shot. We're going to try it. For now, I guess we'll just call it Top 10. So I went on listverse.com. That's listverse.com. They have a lot of different top 10 lists. I'm assuming they're accurate. This one actually had facts to go along with it, so I trust it. But maybe there's some BS ones out. Essentially, the premise of this segment is going to be I have the answers to the order of this list of 10 items, and I'm going to read the items randomly out to the boys, and they're going to have the chance to order them in the order that they think is correct from 1 to 10 and defend them, and then I will reveal the answers. For every guess that you get on the spot, that is a point. I figured we could also have like a group tally, so like you guys can compete between each other, but then if the whole group ends up, like say Garrett gets number 2 right, Casey gets number 3, Minnie gets number 5, that would be 3 points for you guys as a whole. So we'll see if you guys as a team...
If we get all 10, can we get 5 points?
Can you get what?
Like, if we get all 10 as a whole, we get 5 points as a group.
Sure.
If we like if I get 4 of them right, he gets 4 of them right, he gets 2 of them right, then...
Great math.
Who are you competing against as a group?
The world.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, they can play along.
I was going to say, if the audience, if you would like to put a comment with your guesses, we'd love to see everybody else's guesses too.
So while you read
good?
off that top 10 list originally, I'm going to be right back.
Okay.
Brief sabbatical.
So, disclaimer, all 3 of them already have the randomized list that I gave them, which, depending on how this goes, you guys nail it. I don't know if you did research or anything, but if you guys just destroy it because you did research,
because there
then
was
I'm
some
not
on
giving it to
there.
you anyway.
I would say, initially I was going to, because there was like a couple of them I was like, oh man, like I feel like I've heard something about that, like, but then I was like, no, I'm just gonna go with it.
That's what and I was gonna say, if you guys, and I don't care necessarily if you did, but if you looked up stuff and you just destroy it and get 10 out of 10, like next time I'm not giving you the list. We'll just go from there. So, while Garrett is in the bathroom, the topic for this list are the top 10 most deadly animals in the world. The answers following are the box jellyfish, the elephant, the Asian cobra, the polar bear, the poison dart frog, the mosquito, an African lion, the great white shark, the Cape buffalo, and the saltwater crocodile. That's all 10 answers. And just a real quick thing, too.
Before we get started...
Go ahead.
I think he's frozen.
I just want to give a sympathy shout-out to the elephant and the mosquito for not having an adjective.
Bam!
Oh, an adjective, yeah. Gotcha.
Can you hear me
I
now?
appreciate that. Yes.
Good.
So, and then another thing I was going to say, one advantage to the you guys not having the list ahead of time, it'd be interesting to hear you guys go through your thought process. So as I list them off one at a time, then you put, I think that's number 5, and then the next one. And then at the end, give you a chance to reshuffle them if you think you want to change anything. So we'll see how this goes.
That would be cool too.
I'll start with, how about we say, what are your guys' guesses for number 10?
Number 10.
Garrett. So we'll go Garrett, Minnick, Casey. Yeah.
Okay. So kind of my thought process for this, I know that the list was probably based on number of deaths, but I kind of took it a little bit more personally and was like, how big of a threat are these to me? Like, how likely am I to die from these? So my number 1 was the box jellyfish, because...
Number 1 or 10?
I don't want... Number
1 or
10,
10.
I'm sorry. Number 1,
okay.
Least deadly. So number 10
okay.
Is the box jellyfish. If I don't want to be in the water, I don't have to be. I am a land animal. So if I don't want to encounter water animals, I don't have to. So that is my number 10.
Fair enough. Okay.
Solid.
Minnick, how about you?
So, Garrett, mine was kind of similar. My thought process was similar to yours, not the same. My thought was proximity to just human beings in general. Because, yeah, number of deaths is probably taken into it, but for example, something that is around a lot more humans would probably be more deadly than something that's not. So my number 10 is polar bear, because they're mostly prominent on the poles where there's not a lot of people. So while they, in fact, may be deadly when people are around them, their per capita is not as big. So I'm going to go with polar bear, number 10.
Okay. So as long as you're not a seal, basically.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah. I'm thinking of
Unless
it on a
you're
people
Derek.
perspective.
Right.
All right. Dill, what's your guess?
I went with elephant. It's kind of the same mindset that Minnick was saying. Like, there's not too many people around elephants. I mean, all that much. It's probably not anywhere near like polar bear. But at the same time, like, I feel like polar bears are kind of more territorial if people do get around them. And I feel like elephants are kind of just there. Like, I feel like they wouldn't really attack as much. So
You do realize Africa's a continent, right?
Giant elephant. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely nobody lives in Africa.
Okay, so
yeah, but
Dill's
it didn't
guess
say
is the
African elephant.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, so the answer, the 10th most deadliest animal, is the poison dart frog.
Well, I'm screwed.
The frogs, they ooze a slimy neurotoxin. Each frog produces enough of the toxin to kill 10 humans, though they don't really get the chance because they're just in the rainforest. So, but they are very deadly. They kill a lot of people each year. All right, number 9, Garrett.
All right, so yeah, number 9, I was close. I said the poison dart frog. And again, it kind of goes back to what me and Minnick were saying about proximity. If you're not around it, it can't kill you.
Okay.
Yeah, the poison dart frog, number 9. I don't have anything else to add to it. You just explained it, so.
Yeah.
All right, Minnick.
I said the great white shark for number 9 because kind of the same deal. I think they're made out to be more deadly than they actually are.
Okay. Casey? Can't really hear you, man.
Move up.
I think I screwed this entire list up from the get-go. Just to forewarn you. But
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think I screwed this entire list up. But I went with the Cape Buffalo. I just feel like there's not a lot of people unless you live in Montana, pretty much, or Idaho, maybe. But there's not a lot of people around for them to hurt. But I feel like you see videos of buffalo standing in the middle of the roads a couple of times, so I don't know.
Are you just like anti-Africa? Do you like not know that continent exists?
I thought buffalo were just in like the northwestern states. I don't know.
No, I had to look up the Cape buffalo as well. I didn't think it just meant like a typical bison, but just a Cape buffalo is an Africa-dwelling creature. So
okay,
well,
so
yeah. But this list is chalked.
Number 9 is the Cape buffalo.
Oh.
Hey!
Attaboy.
Holy crap!
So they weigh 1.5 tons, stand up to 1.7 meters high and 2.8 meters long. Humans are virtually their only predator, and even lions will avoid crossing them. Every year, the Cape buffalo is known to maul and kill multiple humans. Some believe that it kills more humans in Africa every year than any other creature. Believe.
Okay. Awesome.
All right. So, and I don't know if we want to keep, because we're almost at an hour for the video recording. I don't know. Do you guys want to keep like explaining? Do you want to do like one sentence for each answer?
Yeah. We'll
Okay.
All right. Just the very surface level.
Okay.
Well,
number
plus
8,
some of it's
Garrett.
going to be edited out too.
So number
Mostly.
8, I said elephant. Again, kind of going with the fact that it's not a threat to me.
Okay. Minute.
I said the saltwater crocodile because kind of the same thing as the great white shark. Didn't think it was as big of a threat as it seemed.
Okay. Casey.
I went with the polar bear pretty much just because people aren't around them all that much, so there's not too many humans for them to kill.
Yeah. Number 8 is the polar bear.
Damn, Dill.
Massive creatures are native to the Arctic. They usually eat elephant seals. They could cut off a human head with one swipe of the paw. The polar bear is the most carnivorous of all the bears and will eat walruses, whales, reindeer, and even other polar bears.
Ooh.
So they'll kill each other.
And it's also the mascot of Fairmont Senior, right?
Yes.
Okay, so shout out Fairmont Senior High School.
Number 7, Garrett.
Number 7, I said the Cape buffalo. I know I'm wrong, so Minnick.
I said the box jellyfish just because not as many people as in the ocean as on land.
Okay. Dill.
I went with the mosquito. I don't know why it kind of just fell there.
Okay. So number 7 is the elephant.
I'm close.
Yeah.
My list
African
sucks.
elephants, with their sharp tusks, are not as friendly as many believe. They kill over 500 people per year, either by stomping or impaling. The African elephant generally weighs in at 16 tons.
Of those 500 people, some of them probably deserve it if they're hunting them.
True.
Just
Fair enough.
All right, number 6, Garrett.
The polar bear. Shout out Fairmont Senior. Minnick, you're up.
I said the Asian cobra.
Okay. Dill.
I went with the box jellyfish.
Okay. Number 6 is the saltwater crocodile. This is the largest of all living reptiles and is found mainly in northern Australia and Southeast Asia. Healthy adult is usually 4 to 7 meters long, weighing up to 1.6 tons. They have reports of larger. The creature is capable of killing and eating animals up to the size of a water buffalo. Their most deadly attack is the death roll. I don't know if you guys ever heard that, where they latch down and spin to try to knock out the predator or the prey.
I did look them up, and I'm pretty sure I saw where they are the largest of the crocodiles.
Yeah, so it's a 1-ton stallion is known to have been killed by this method, the death roll, in under a minute.
Boy.
Wow.
And in the water, they can move as fast as a dolphin.
Shout out saltwater crocs, man.
All right, number 5, Garrett.
Number 5, I said great white shark. So I know that number 10, I had the box jellyfish, and I said that I don't live in the water. But I just felt like I was doing the great white an injustice if he wasn't in my top 5. So top 5.
Fair enough. Minute.
I said the African lion, and that's still on the board, so hopefully that's right.
Okay. Dill.
I went with the saltwater croc, and I know that's wrong, so.
Okay. Number 5 is the African lion. The African lion can reach up to a half a ton, Lions are thought to kill up to 70 humans per year in Tanzania. These large animals are eclipsed in size only slightly by the tiger.
Nice.
I didn't know that. That's surprising.
Yep.
I thought a lion was bigger than a tiger.
Same.
Tigers are
males.
usually larger.
I think it's the beard.
Yeah.
Well, say
And
their heads all just fluff.
Yeah.
All right, number 4, Garrett.
Saltwater crocodile, and I'm wrong. Ryan.
Minnick?
Poison dart frog, and I'm wrong.
Dill?
Mine's still up on the board. I went with great white shark.
Number 4 is the great white shark.
Jesus.
Boy.
Let's see. Surviving species of its genus. And in general, the creatures do not attack humans, and while there have been some fatalities, the majority of attacks on humans are believed to be test bites. The great white shark are known to test bite other objects in order to determine what they are. More people are killed each year in the U.S. by dogs than great white sharks in the last 100 years.
Can we edit that fact out? Because that's just a shot at dogs. And
Just saying. It's true. I thought it was an interesting fact, though. All right, number 3, Garrett.
Still on the board, I said the Asian cobra. I know the Asian population is huge, so I just kind of took into consideration that obviously the more people there are, the more likely you are to be killed. So, Asian cobra.
Okay. Minnick?
That's fair. I said the Cape Buffalo, and that was number 9. So, Casey.
mine has already been said, and I went with the African lion. So.
Number 3 is the box jellyfish.
Wow.
Highly underrated, the box jellyfish.
Also known as the wasp jellyfish, this salad bowl-sized jellyfish can have up to 60 tentacles as long as 15 feet. Each tentacle has enough toxin to kill 50 humans. They are found in Australia, the Philippines, and many other tropical areas. Since 1884, at least 5,567 deaths have been attributed to these creatures.
So I was right in putting him number 10 because he's not a threat to me, so...
Fair. All right, number 2, Garrett.
African lion. I mean, he's a badass, but I'm wrong, so... Minnick.
I very much overrated the elephant at number 2, so bummer.
Wow.
I appreciate the perspectives, though.
I have a 50-50 shot, and I went with the Asian cobra.
Number 2, the Asian cobra.
Dill's on fire right now.
Right?
Man, I thought I was screwed from the get-go.
While the Asian
I got
cobra,
number 1. I got number 1 right though.
While it does not have the deadliest venom, it does make the most of what it has, causing the largest chunk of the 50,000 deaths per snake bite a year. An average cobra is about 1 meter in length.
Yeah, you don't want to mess with
And
no cobra.
number 1, Gert.
The mosquito. Just because of... Yeah, the malaria outbreaks and whatnot. And that's all I have to say about it.
Ditto. The mosquito.
Dill?
I was way off with the poison dart frog.
Yeah, so number 1, by process of elimination, is the mosquito. So, due to malaria carrying parasites transferred by the mosquitoes, it is responsible for the deaths of more than 2 million people a year. In addition, mosquitoes are estimated to transfer diseases to more than 70 million people per year. Even in countries such as the UK, New Zealand, and Japan, where the more temperate climates have reduced mosquito bites to merely an annoyance, they still cause some deaths every year.
The silent killer.
So, and I picked this list because, I mean, like, once I thought about it, it made sense. But I was like, ooh, that'll be a nice, like, surprise ending. But 2 guys nailed it. So, Garrett, what was your final toll?
1, the mosquito.
Minnick?
2.
And Dill.
I want to say 4. I was not keeping total. I hope there's a little number up here in the
corner. It was 3 or 4. 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Okay, well, yeah, I'll try to keep track as we go. But maybe you're right. Either way, congratulations, Dill. Woo. Good job. So, if you guys like that, that's you people participating and you watching, be sure to let us know. I thought it went pretty well. Maybe next time we'll try the thing I was saying where like I'll list them out and you guys list them while we're doing it, just to get a little more of
I like that.
thinking. Just to try.
It only took me a couple minutes to get mine in order.
Same.
Yeah.
It wasn't that long of a process.
Yeah. All right. And at this time we have another ad read from Bob Smiley.
All right. So I don't know about you guys. I mean, do you guys kind of like a little bit of personality on your walls in your house, something like that? Maybe a little wood project here.
Does it look like it?
Oh
Man,
yeah.
I don't know, man.
I have blinds.
Well, for those that do,
just a little bit.
Bob Smiley's Woodworking offers personalized, handmade woodworking products of any type, ranging from small country decor to custom wooden flags and even rustic furniture. If you find something you like on Pinterest that you'd like to have in your humble abode, screenshot it. And if you see something out in public, snap a quick pic and send any ideas to Bob to get exactly what you're looking for. And don't forget about the Bob Smiley Lifetime Guarantee that comes with all products purchased. Hands down, the greatest guarantee offered on any product in the history of woodworking, and at a great price of free 99. That's FREE 99, not the number 3. Fair prices, wicked fast response time, and great customer service. To place an order or see previous projects, just go to facebook.com/BobSmileys. That's FACEBOOK.com/BOBSMILEYS. Thank you.
Wonderful. Beautiful.
Great job.
Grand. Great.
Thank you to all of our sponsors, especially our newest one, Shelly Minnick. We appreciate it, and we hope we can keep adding some interesting ones as the show goes on. Now, to close out the show, we are going to end on what I believe was our favorite from the first episode, and as we said, will be a common segment throughout the shows. We're going to venture out into the depths of r/AskReddit. Don't know if anybody would like to pull it up themselves and find us one, or we can all look at the same time.
My phone's all the way over there, so
it will not be Casey.
Somebody else.
That's your prize for winning the top 10 game is you don't have to go get your phone to look at Ask
I'll
Reddit.
take it. Also, a quick sports update. NHL All-Stars this week. No Penguins game being played. The Blackhawks beat up on the Caps today with a dub. Helped the Penguins get closer to the number 1 seed. And the Saints blew an early lead with the Rams coming out in overtime for the win.
I know it'll be like a week delay, but you go look up that goalie save in the Hawks-Caps game, man. That was insane.
Beast.
Yeah,
Good game.
I didn't see it.
I did
Go
find a
for it.
question that I like. I don't know if you all...
I found one too.
Okay.
Let's hear them both.
Yeah.
You want to do both of them?
Well, just
We'll vote.
read them out and then we'll pick one
Okay,
because we're running
so-
pretty long already.
Mine are, what are some underrated combinations?
Okay, I saw that one too.
Good one.
Mine's a little more personal. What is the scariest encounter you've ever had with another human being?
Ooh.
I got a good one there.
I know Ben's got a good one for that.
All right, then I'm going
What
to go
is the
ahead.
scariest
Let's do
encounter
that
with
one, and I'm
another
going to go ahead
human
and go
you have ever
forth.
experienced? Okay.
If I can do that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Did you say first or fourth?
Fourth.
Number 4.
You're going to go
Four.
fourth. Okay.
Yeah.
So do you
last.
want me to start and then go around?
Yes,
Sure.
please.
Sure.
Okay. I will be more than happy. I've had my fair share of crazy experiences with humans because I feel we're all a little bit crazy, but there are some out there that are just they really set that far end. And I don't know how you guys want to handle this, but are we talking like I was afraid or the situation itself was scary?
Whatever you put on your
whatever
top
you
list.
feel. Yeah, whatever you feel.
Okay.
Fits the criteria.
The first one to come to mind for me, because I think it was genuinely the most afraid and unsure moment in my recent memory that I can remember. My now wife was my girlfriend at the time whenever we were all at WVU, and we used to go on a lot of walks and do a lot of exercise. For those of you that have never been to Morgantown, it's pretty simple layout. There's only a few key landmarks, one of which is High Street. High Street is like where all the bars are, and coincidentally all the crazies. So, but typically it's after like 8 o'clock is when the crazies really kind of come out. Usually during the day it's more of, sadly there's homeless folks that live along there or looking for money. But we used to go on long walks all over the campus, and part of our route was to come up High Street because you can see it's like a cool look into the campus. I forget what building that is at the top, but I think it's Stewart. Is it Stewart at the top?
Or Whitehall.
Yeah, okay.
Or are you talking if you're talking right at the top of High Street, it's Whitehall that leads down onto it.
Yeah, so probably that. But either way, we used to come up there, and there's bars, shops all over the place. But one in particular that we went to a couple times is Sandwich U.
R.I.P. Sandwich U.
Oh, did they die?
It's gone.
No.
Really?
Wow.
That's disappointing.
Really quick shout out to Sandwich U. They had literally heartbreaking sandwiches because they were loaded with all kinds of unhealthy crap that just comes together into a death sandwich, but it was so good.
Delicious.
Anyways,
Well worth it.
back to the story. We were coming up that route, and we had a run-in with a fellow crazy of the street. He was at Sandwich U, and he was trying to, I'm assuming, purchase a sandwich. And we could tell that the employees were not being very kind to him. I physically saw one of them take his money and throw it back at him. And clearly this guy was not, he wasn't wealthy or anything. He was pretty ragged, and he had a few screws loose. So not kudos to Sandwich U, or at least for that employee for doing that. I think that was a pretty crappy move, and what followed was probably as a result. We came up along, and I saw it, but I didn't see it fast enough to go to the other side of the street. So when we were coming up, he approached us, and when he approached us, he was pissed off, like he was mad, because he's like, they won't take my effing money. Those they won't take my stuff. My stuff's just as good as all you people. They won't take my stuff. And I'm like, I'm really sorry, sir. Like, I understand. I saw it happen. I can give somebody a call if you'd like me to. I'd be more than happy because it's not right. And he said, I don't care. Like, who are you? Like, who even are you? What are you going to do for me? And I said, I'm just trying to help. I understand. I sympathize. It wasn't right. But if I can't do anything, we're going to move on. Have a nice day. And as we started to go around him, he rushes up at us and is like, you're not going effing anywhere. He said, I'm an ex-cop. I'm an ex-SEAL. I'm gonna call somebody right now, and before you know it, this block's gonna be shut down. We're gonna shut it down. You're not going anywhere. And he's yelling at us and getting up in our face at this point. And I said, sir, we're gonna keep walking, and I suggest you don't get any closer. If you do, I'm gonna call the police. If you touch me, it's gonna get physical. And he continued to yell at us and whatnot, and I was trying to defend, because Candace is with me, and it's scary. She's freaking out. She, smart enough, as soon as he approached us and she saw the situation going out of hand, already called 911 and had them listening, so they could hear everything that was happening. I didn't even know that until we left. But he continued to yell at us and whatnot, and he kept reaching in his jacket. I think he was reaching into his jacket when he'd come running up at me, because he'd back away and try to walk around us in circles and then run up at us. So I said, he keeps yelling at me and whatnot. I'm like, okay, sir, for the last time, we're going to keep walking. If you follow me, I'm calling the cops. Have a nice day. So I put Candace in front of me, and we kept walking, and I could hear him running up behind me. But then I showed him my phone. I dialed 911 and said, here you go. I'm calling the cops now. Keep it up. And so he eventually walked away from us and backed down into one of the alleys. But while I know it might not sound too crazy from mouth to mouth, but when you just don't know people, especially nowadays. I didn't know what he wanted to do.
With this going on.
Yeah, I didn't know what he wanted to do.
Like grabbing the jacket, you never know who's gonna have what.
Yeah, and like
Sure.
I know he was upset, and I sympathize with him. It's not right. That's a lesson learned. Don't treat people like, basically, no matter who they are. So that was hands down my scariest.
I still remember that day whenever like you called me afterwards and you were like, "Oh, dude."
I mean,
Yeah. Ben and I were living together through that, so I definitely remember that.
It was terrifying, like genuinely terrifying. But all right, Dill.
Okay, so whenever I was at Pot State, I had a part-time job at a little convenience store in Fort Ashby called Grady's, and I was closing one night. It was maybe a half an hour getting ready to actually close up, so I was getting everything ready. And this guy came in the store, and I don't know if I ever told Chaz this, but I thought for sure it was Chaz Muse walking in the store because he came in acting like a little jackass earlier in the evening. I thought he was just messing with me. But this guy comes in, and he's got this light tan snowboarding jacket on, and he's got like a black ski mask pulled over his face, and you can just see his eyes and his mouth. And I was like, "Oh, hey, what's going on?" Because I thought it was Chaz. And and he's like, "Give me all the effing money and blah, blah, blah." I'm like, "What the hell?" And then he pulls a gun out of his pocket, and I was like, "Oh, shit." And so he's got the gun like up to my face across the counter, and I was like, "Oh my God." So I was like, I just opened the cash register. I took a step back, and he was like getting all the money out, and he was like shoving it in his like jacket pockets, like at his hip. And while he was doing that, like some of the money fell on the floor. So this swine puts his pistol right up on the counter, and for like 2 seconds I saw it sitting there. I was like, I should take this gun and like shoot this jackass in the head. But then my conscience kicked in, and I was like, no, do not touch the gun. Like, because if I go for it and he grabs it before me, like, I'm done. So I just stood there and let him do his thing. And he finally got all the money together. And he's, like, walking out the door and still pointing the gun at me. And I was more pissed than I was scared at the moment. So I'm like, so I run around the counter, and I go out there, and I was trying to get his tags on his car. And of course it was dark and I couldn't see. Well, then I realized once he started pulling out, he didn't have any tags on his car. He took the tag off. But of course then I called the cops and I called the owner and everything. And here Kate had heard it on the scanner that we have at the house. She was freaking out because she heard armed robbery at Grady's. And then she was calling me while I was on the phone with the cops, and I wasn't picking up, so she was freaking out. And it was just a very eventful night.
I'd say, man, that still blows my mind.
It was pretty wild, but like, I don't know if it was like just all the adrenaline, but like, I still remember like every little detail. Like, I could, if I had the artistic skills that Ben had, I could still like draw and picture exactly what that son of a was wearing, and yeah.
I still say you made the right call by not reacting to the gun. I know a lot of people would be like, "Oh, I could have done it," but you just don't. You just don't know.
Yeah, okay. I wanted to, but I was like,
Yeah. Yeah, that is genuinely. Kudos to you for being able to handle it, because I'd have been a mess. Like.
It was pretty wild.
It'll be interesting to see how this comes together in the video, but we'll take it in stride. So, all right, Minnick.
First, Dale, I just wanted to say I wasn't laughing at the fact that you were held at gunpoint and robbed. I was laughing at the fact that you were like,
"Sure,
hi, how you doing?" Like this, like you didn't obviously know at the time. But the guy's genuinely robbing you, and you are just trying to sell him some Reese's cups. So I mean, it's
hey man, my customer service was first instinct.
First class, it's fantastic.
If I'm nice enough to this guy, he might not pull the gun out of his jacket.
Jeez.
I would actually say mine, much like Dill's, was at work. And I wouldn't even say it was really scary per se. I don't think I've ever really had an encounter where I was terrified of anybody. I just try to stay calm through everything. But I was working the front desk at my job in Morgantown. This guy comes in, and I really didn't think anything of it. I guess I try to give people the benefit of the doubt. But he comes in, and he kind of looks a little, I don't want to say ragged, but like he's got on like an older flannel that's kind of, it's not beat up, but it's not in great shape, ripped jeans,
worn,
old tennis shoes. Right. I mean, just looks like somebody who maybe just came from class, something along those lines. Anyway, he comes in and asks where HR is, which is not uncommon in our building. So he says, "Where's the HR?" So we tell him. He then goes on this long tangent about how they don't care about you, and I can't believe that they're even part of this because this, that, and the other, and it's just amazing. And just try to shake it off, like, dude, you're talking to the wrong person.
Yeah.
I don't have anything to do with this. So then he walks out and he comes back in, and then he starts talking about how he is trying to find himself, and he's trying to go to the seventh dimension and all this nonsense. And I mean, it was just crazy. And like I said, I wasn't really scared. I was just thought he was
He's
crazy.
just trying to open his third eye, man.
Yeah, just a little crazy. So then he goes across the way to the TV studio, which is across in our office, and without anyone knowing, he goes into the TV mannequin, and he puts on the polo that the TV mannequin has on. And then he comes back in our office and is wearing it. And
Oh my gosh.
We know what it is. So then one of the guys that works in that office comes out and, snatches it off of him. Like, dude, that's ours. You, whatever, whatnot. So, long story short, it was resolved. Nothing really happened. But just a very interesting guy. So my reaction to it more than anything was to go on the back and look up the seventh dimension. I was like, I need to know what this is. I need to know what this guy's doing. I need to know a little bit more about this.
Am I wrong?
You're right. Like, should I be trying to go to the seventh dimension? Is this guy, what's the deal with this guy? I just have to know what's going on. But unlike you guys, I probably wasn't scared. I wasn't nervous.
Did we just become best friends?
I wasn't nervous. I was a little freaked out by the end of it. Just a very strange encounter with an interesting man.
Yeah. All right. It's very. I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was bizarre.
Bizarre, yeah, good word,
Yeah.
bizarre.
I kind of want to meet him.
Yeah. All right. Well.
He just took some vitamins prior to.
Yeah.
Not
feel
not any vitamins you can buy at Walmart. That's for sure.
Minnick, and I think you said something about this when you started, and I heard this on another podcast that I listened to. I don't know if anybody listens to H3, but I listened to the H3 podcast, and he had a theory about like these kind of situations in general. So if you come into a situation, I'm a pretty anxious person. Just how I am. Or like if you hear a strange noise or if you see someone acting funny, whatever you're thinking it is, by giving someone like the benefit of...
Speaking of strange
he's
noises,
getting anxious right now.
I couldn't have timed that. Hold on a minute. I'll be right back.
10-4.
His neighbor's out there. He's like, "You son of a bitch, you shoveled onto my car again."
So, is this a technical difficulty screen?
Technical difficulties.
Oh, that was
No,
quick.
maybe not.
So, perfect example.
He wasn't running a popsicle, so.
Great example just now. So what I was saying, sorry, is like when you think about it, whatever you're thinking it is it more likely that what you're thinking is happening is taking place, or is it more likely that something else?
Mm-hmm.
So try not to jump. I guess just not jumping to conclusions.
Yeah.
And thinking of it in the sense that is it more likely that is actually happening? So that strange noise. My first thought is, I don't really know what's happening, but could somebody be in my house? We have baby gates all over our house because of my crazy dog, and the baby gate fell over.
Oh.
So
it's either another human in your house or a ghost.
Yeah. So just anybody else out there that may have anxiety problems, I know, like I said, I was a scared kid for some reason. I don't know why, but I think it's carried over a little bit into my adult life. Try to think of it like that. Is it more likely that something crazy is happening, or to just something random that's nothing's gonna bother you? So anyway, Garrett.
So mine kind of follows suit with Casey and Minnick, that it being at work. It's actually my current employer still. So I was there, I don't know, I started there in 2015. I'd been there for a month or two maybe. And obviously when you're working like an 8-9 hour shift, you know, the human body has to relieve itself. So I go to the bathroom, and the only stall that's available is the handicap stall. So I'm sitting there, you know, minding my own business, and I hear, you know, coming from the stall next to me, kind of some like light, maybe not moaning, but like some kind of grunting sounds, like, ugh. And so I'm like, all right, so there's some sick person sitting beside me, you know, they don't have time on their own to take care of this. So I'm like, all right, I just need to like make it quick and, you know, get out of here. And next thing I know, the guy's feet. So obviously I think everybody watching has probably sat in a bathroom stall at some point.
Yes.
You can see the person's feet beside you. Well, they go from like on the floor and they just slide out. Like, next thing I know, this guy, like, his legs are all the way out through the door. And, like, not to be gross, his pants are all the way up. So I'm like, that's really odd. So something's already suspect. So this, like, I'm like, okay, I really need to get out of here. There's something wrong. And I look down, and his arms are dangling from the side of the toilet. And there's a needle underneath his hand laying on the bathroom floor. So I'm like, oh, like, I got to do something. I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And hindsight's 20/20. I'll get into that. So I'm like, I don't know what to do. So I went to customer service, where I know a manager would be hanging out. And I can't even think of the manager that was on duty at that point, but it's not important. I said, hey, there's somebody doing drugs in the bathroom, and I don't think they're okay. And this manager had the audacity to say, well, how do you know? I'm like, I said he's sprawled out on the floor, and there's a needle, like, underneath his hand on the floor. Like, I don't know what else to, like. So I walk back again, and there's a lady, like, pacing in this little hallway that our bathrooms are in. Like I said, I work at a big retailer, so, like, the bathrooms are, like, in its own little hallway. So I walk back, and I have, like, another employee with me, because they're kind of, like, we're kind of in it together. And this lady looks at me and says, do you guys have a homeless problem here or something? And I'm like, no. I said, apparently we have a heroin problem. And she literally busts into the men's bathroom. And I actually remember the guy's name. I don't know his last name, but she's like, Jay, you need to get up. Like, we need to get out of here, this and that. And I'm like, oh, shit. So she literally drags him by the feet, picks him up, and carries him out of the store. And our manager's like, you better not come back or I'm calling the f***ing cops. And I'm like, literally, I had just started. I was 19 years old, so, like, I'm freaking out. So, like, this isn't, like, a scary thing for me personally. Like, I didn't feel like my life was threatened. But the fact that, like, I might watch somebody lose their life.
Oh, so, yeah.
I mean, and
he was expecting that.
Not that I know he was dead for a fact, but, like, he was lifeless. Like, he was slumped. She couldn't. And so, like, there's a difference between being drunk and slumped, you know, where you're actually, like, kind of helping your body along. This guy was like a rag doll, and she drug him out of the store. And I mean, that's probably the scariest encounter I've had with another person. Like I said, not that my life was threatened, but the fact that I don't know if that guy survived. I don't know what the deal was, but looking back, the way that the management handled it at my job, I should have just called 911 right away. But I mean, like I said, hindsight's 20/20. So. But yeah, that's the worst that I had.
Yeah, but either way, even if you did call 911 and the cops showed up, she would have had him dragged out of there by the time they got there anyway.
Oh, for sure.
And he's probably in the same situation now, whether he went right back to what he was doing or whether he got clean. whether the cops got there or not, it would have been the exact same situation.
You're right. I agree for the most part.
Yeah. Yeah, kudos to you. If anybody else should run into that problem, probably take a similar action. Go find somebody. Definitely don't touch the needle if it's a needle.
Oh, no.
Don't try to touch the person. Get somebody else who's qualified. Because not only for the qualification, but especially because you're an employee of that store. And you're at the store. You touch him and you do something wrong, you're in trouble.
That's on me.
Your company's in trouble.
Yeah. So, I mean, for being a 19-year-old kid, I think I handled it just about as best as I could.
Well, was you good? Yeah. Sure.
So I think something good to come out of all these stories. You notice how each of us had something that, like, there was something valuable that came out of it. So for mine, Candace, as soon as she saw the situation escalating, dials 911 and just has it there for someone to listen, just in case something would happen. You know, it took me until we were walking away. She had already done it when she recognized the situation.
Yeah.
Casey, not touching the gun, even though the opportunity was there. Just listening to what the person has to say is the best thing you can do. Don't put yourself in a dangerous situation. Minnick, you didn't feel threatened, but you heard the guy out, and similar thing, you got your, your upper management or somebody to be there with you and interact to handle the situation. Garrett, getting the people in charge so that you don't put yourself in danger and all the other legal stuff. So,
see, I would argue that mine was that I learned about the seventh dimension. So, two victories.
Is it anything worth looking into?
Not really.
It seems really exciting.
All right. Well, we're at like an hour and 42 minutes. So even
we'll
with
cut a
a
bunch
significant
of it out.
amount of cutting, it's going to be long. Which is okay. You know, we don't really know how long we want the show to go or short. Some might be shorter, some might be longer. It's just whatever we have to say. I think this episode was positive, though. I like the segments that we did. I think we all did a good job. And I think we'll probably stick to a similar format into the future. Like we said in the first episode, we'll swap segments out, try different things. But this is the same. This is about the feel you can expect going forward into the rest of the season and seasons to come. So if you guys have anything you want to say before we sort of give our goodbyes, go ahead and
let it
fly.
Real quick. Obviously, by the time that this episode comes out, we'll know who's going to the Super Bowl. But I keep glancing over at the Pats and Chiefs, and let's go Chiefs. They're currently up on the Pats and looking to seal the deal.
All right.
That's about it.
Nice. Anybody else?
No. Just, thank you for your continued support. Keep sharing us, liking. If you haven't already, subscribed. And yeah, I mean, just we're gonna keep trying to put out content for you guys to hopefully enjoy.
Yeah.
Yeah, please keep giving us feedback.
Yes.
No matter what it is, all the feedback in the world makes such a big difference for us. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
I just
positive,
echo
negative, anything.
I just echo very briefly what Garrett and Casey said, but we never expected this response from everybody. We didn't expect it to start out as big as it did, even though it's by no means big at all. But
bigger than nothing.
To have people that have messaged me personally, and I'm sure you guys have had it too, but I've had people message me personally and say, hey, I really liked it, I enjoyed it. I was talking to somebody, and he was telling me, hey, that part of the podcast when you guys were talking about, and it made me feel good that people were actually listening to it and invested in it. So thank you for everybody.
Not just giving us views, actually listening.
Right. So thank you, everybody that has listened and will continue to listen. And any suggestions you guys have, send them our way. We want to try to include as many people as possible and get as many questions in as we can. So shout out everyone.
Bam!
So to wrap it up, a couple of things off what you guys just said, especially this episode. I kind of like that we have some things that you people watching can participate in, whether it's through the comments or through us directly. If you want to do the answers for the top 10s, if you want to share your story with a scary experience, or your answers to the questions, whether it's this episode or the ones going forward, please feel free to participate. We'd love to hear what everybody else has to say. And maybe if that becomes pretty common, we could read out some of our favorite answers for past shows and the shows to follow. Sort of going forward, like I said, you can expect this to be our show format. I think we've got it pretty down pat. But like the three other gentlemen have said, give us recommendations for segments or questions or topics. Literally anything. We're so receptive and open because we're still fresh, and we appreciate everything you have to offer. Sponsors, viewers, subscribers, any last thing. I don't know, we've said it before, and I want to say it one more time before we say goodbye. We appreciate it. We couldn't say it enough. So that pretty well ends what we have to offer, and we will see you folks next time on the Ramble on the Mountain video podcast. Bye.
Stay warm.